Hey folks, Vince here again. I've been really busy the last few weeks and haven't had a chance to do much in the way of video work, so I thought I'd put together a real quick video just showing some of the rust hunting finds that I've made in the last couple weeks, just to get something here on YouTube. I also wanted to give a little plug for Wood Magazine. I think some of you know I mentioned in one of my videos that I'm a contributing editor for Wood Magazine now. And they've actually had me start doing some videos for them as well for their YouTube channel and their website. So I'll put a link to one of the videos that I did recently in the description below, and you can check that out. And I encourage you to also just check out woodmagazine.com and Wood Magazine YouTube channel. They've got some really good videos. There's a lot of very talented people there, and they do some really good work. So give it a look, and hopefully you'll like what you see. All right, let's get started on some of the rust hunting finds I have. Well, I don't have a lot of things to show you this time, but this first item is kind of interesting. It looks like a screw pitch gauge, but in reality it's a gear pitch gauge, and it's used to determine the diametral pitch of a gear. So it's got different size pitches on the leaves, and if you have a gear that you're not sure what the pitch is, you just kind of hold it up different leaves until you find the one that fits the teeth on the gear. So in this case, right here, this one works. The gear fits right in those teeth, and that lets you know that this is a 16 diametral pitch. It's an item that you don't see too often. I found this on the internet and was glad to find it because you just don't come across them that often. Alright, so next up are a pair of knurling tools for a metal lathe. I've got a knurling tool that is the type that you mount in a lantern tool post and you just ram it against the workpiece as it's rotating, and it creates a knurl, which is kind of that diamond pattern on a round piece of metal, allows you to get a grip on it. But that type is not really good for the lathe because it puts a lot of stress on the lathe, on the bearings. This is a scissors type, which actually you have your metal piece here and it clamps down on it like that, so you don't have any force on the lathe bearings, it's all on the metal. So these both are missing the part that you put in the tool post, but I think I can make something that'll work there. So I'll probably just keep one of them and get rid of the other one. Same person I bought these from also threw in just a whole bunch of knurls, and they're a little bit rusty, but most of them are either new or still sharp. They just have to be cleaned up a bit. So different sizes here, different coarse, fine, and medium knurls. Some are straight knurls, some are diagonal knurls, so for diamond knurling. So plenty there to last me a lifetime. All right, found another set of chisels. There's a set of 4 Steelcraft chisels, and these are made in Germany. I believe they date from sometime after World War II. I've had another set of these in the past that were stamped British Zone, Germany. And right after World War II, Germany was divided up into 4 zones, one controlled by the British, one by United States, one by France, and one by Russia. And obviously the Russian one became Eastern Germany, and then the other 3 were kind of combined into Western Germany. But these don't say that, they just say Germany or Western Germany, I believe. So 1940s or 1950s vintage, I'm guessing. They're decent chisels. German steel is good steel. They're probably, I would guess, a mid-range chisel, not super high-end, but still decent. Well, whenever I run across one of these red Starrett boxes, my heart beats a little faster, just because you never know what you're going to find inside. And this is a 995E Universal Precision Gauge, also known as a planer gauge. Comes in a nice wooden box here. These planer gauges were originally used to set the height of a cutter or bit on a planer, a metal planer or metal shaper. This part slides up and down on this triangle here, and you can set it at a certain height and then place it underneath the cutter and raise or lower the cutter till it just touches the surface here, and then you know what height you have it set at. It can be used for a lot of other setups though. It's not just limited to that. So This one is in okay shape. It's got a little bit of surface rust on it, and previous owner scribed their name on there, Sandy. So Sandy, I've got your planer gauge now. I like this one because it comes with some accessories that you don't often see in other ones. There are a couple of little extension pieces here so that you can extend the range. A short piece and then a longer one here. They just screw onto the top, and that gives you a wider range. You can also use this for scribing. If you want to mark the height on a workpiece, there's a Scriber tool. The Scriber is actually missing, but you clamp it down with this, and then you just kind of run this along the side of the tool, along the side of the workpiece to scribe a line. There's a little offset extension here that you can clamp in place with this little post, and this is used for areas where you can't reach into with this big tool, so you have this little offset arm, and that just gets into tight little corners there. So like I said, not in pristine condition, but I can clean off this rust, and I'll put this to good use. All right, some more Machinist tools here. These are Machinist hold downs, and there's two pair here, and these are used to hold a piece of metal or a workpiece either in a vise or hold it flat on the surface of a planer or milling machine. And the way they're designed to work, they have a slight angle on the edge, so when you clamp, they actually force the workpiece down onto the table, and they hold it very securely. So there's a 4-inch pair and a 2-inch pair. They're all made by Lufkin, and the 2-inch pair was what I really wanted because I have a small milling vise. I think my milling vise is 3 inches wide, so it's nice to have a small pair that will work with smaller projects. So I like Lufkin tools. If I find them and they're in good shape and reasonable price, I usually will pick them up, and I was glad to get this set. Okay, back to woodworking tools now. This is a Miller's Fall circular saw. I have a smaller version of this saw that belonged to my father, and I like it just for that reason alone. But when I saw this one, it's a little bit bigger, has a little heavier duty motor, and it wasn't too expensive, so I thought, what the heck, I'll have a couple of them. It's in really nice shape. Looks like it's been lightly used and pretty much just stored in the case most of the time. Did come with a nice metal case, and it even had a couple of plywood blades in there. So I tried it out and it works fine. It is insulated. A lot of these older aluminum bodied tools, you got to be careful, because if they short out, the electricity goes right through the aluminum housing into your hand and gives you a little jolt. But this one's double insulated, so I don't have to worry about that. Well, this last item is something that I found on Facebook Marketplace. A couple months ago I saw this pop up. It's cold rolled steel, 14 feet of 1 3/4 inch diameter cold rolled steel. And the seller told me that he had bought it to roll a 3,000 pound printing press across a concrete floor. And he didn't know what alloy it was, but he bought it, used it for that, and then it just kind of sat in his garage for a couple of years. And he originally was asking $150 for this, and at that price, not knowing what alloy steel it was, I just kind of forgot about it. But then I would see the ad pop up every so often, and he kept dropping the price. And a couple weeks ago it showed up for $20, and at that price it was kind of hard to turn it down. So drove out and looked at it, and loaded up in my Mini and brought it home. I cut off a little chunk of it and chucked it up in the lathe just to try turning it to see how well it turns. And I didn't get the greatest surface, but it's not terrible, so that could be my technique. I'm guessing it's probably 1018 or maybe 1045, but either way, I'll find a use for it. It's nice to have some metal stock on hand that didn't cost a whole lot, so I'll just keep it and put it to good use. Anyways, that's my finds for this time. I appreciate you watching. Thank you for the comments, and thank you for subscribing. and I'll see you next time.